Hey guys, and welcome to another video. And a couple weeks ago, I did a video about what could happen in a Nintendo Direct, but I didn't really specify when it could be. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing when a potential Nintendo Direct could be happening based on different leaks and how likely each date could be or unlikely it could be. And I'm joined with Eduardo Gaming. So
Hello.
he's going to be discussing some of this with me, so let's go ahead and get started. So first off, we're going to start off with some sources here. So the first one we have here is, there's a lot of different leaks and speculation about, a Direct coming soon. Some of them are saying late August, and then some of them are saying early September. And there's, a lot of people that guess the Indie World Direct and, well, not really direct, but presentation, and that are also saying that there will be some kind of Nintendo Direct, after it. So what are your opinions on that? What do you think will happen?
I don't believe that there's gonna be a direct in August. I feel like we already had a direct, but we never had a full direct since a while back. But I
Yeah,
feel like we need a new direct, in general, because a lot of people
definitely.
want to see new stuff. Everyone that has been seeing when I saw the indie direct, everyone's like no Smash DLC and all that. It was like
Mhm.
they all were controversial about it because they wanted new stuff from Nintendo.
Yeah. So, I feel like there's multiple points going towards one in the last week of August and then the first couple weeks of September. There's a few different ways. I feel like it could be one or the other at this point because there's a ton of sources towards both. And also, I'd like to add that Jeff Grubb, who's been speculating a lot, who speculated something from Nintendo in July and got that correct and got the Indie World correct, because I think him and a few other people, on some podcasts and discussions, they said that there was going to be an Indie World and a Direct. I think also a few other people said that too. I think Spawn Wave said it, and a few other people said that there was going to be an Indie World first, and then a Direct. So I'd also like to go into that Directs are usually happening between 1 and 4 weeks after a Indie World showcase. So this happened back in with the September Direct. There was one in late August, the last week of August, I believe, and then there was one at the very beginning of September. And then in March, more recently, there was the Indie World on March 17th. I remember it because it's my birthday then. And then 1 week later, there was an indie, or well, after the Indie World, there was a normal direct, well, mini direct, I meant. But there's usually some kind of Nintendo Direct after an Indie World. And I think even right before E3 Directs, they have an Indie World showcase, either 2 weeks before or a month before that. So they kind of like to separate the indie games from the normal directs and the mini directs. So what are your opinions on this?
I just feel like maybe there might be direct that rumor direct might be true, but at the same time, it's like Nintendo. We don't know what they're gonna do. They're not
Definitely.
predictable. So I'm assuming there might be a direct in September to finally end the direct
Yeah.
drought properly, because there has been no full on direct this most throughout this whole year, and I'm just waiting till Nintendo releases something new like that, like a new direct and new stuff.
Yeah, we'll get more into the specifics of when it could happen after we get through some of the sources here. But after that is well, I put down on the thing the Mario controllers, but also the Mario 35th anniversary, whatever they're doing for that, the collection and the 3D World Deluxe, if that's gonna happen. Um, and then also the Mario controllers releasing on September 1st. Some people think those are going to release in September. I personally don't think, but there's a tiny chance that it could still happen. Because the Nintendo's going to have, well, this is another point, but Nintendo's also holding a briefing session on September 16th, a few days after the Super Mario Bros. 35th anniversary, so there's either going to be something released or revealed around then, or it'd have to be before then, in the weeks leading up to that. So that basically kind of puts area where a Nintendo Direct could be. It's either the rest of August or September. So, like, that's kind of like what we have with this. So anywhere between now and the 16th is the most likely area for a Direct. So what do you have to add to that?
I would say September 16th seems like a good choice because it would like end and then no Nintendo
Yeah.
Direct anymore, and maybe Nintendo can do some more in the future and so on. Like I don't want Nintendo to ever like do something like this again, but like if they do this, they're making like more money off of older games that they made. So like it's kind of a positive and a negative at the same time, I would say.
Yeah. And they really need the. I feel like by that date they'd have their announcements out, so they have like something to say, because they can't just say Pikmin 3 Deluxe. That's it. Like there'd have to be more. So especially because it's Mario's 35th anniversary, they'd have to have at least a Mario game revealed, if not a few of them. So let's go ahead and go into the unlikely and likely dates. So for unlikely, the first one I have here is this week. It's probably not, it's not possible, like, cause, like, there's a couple days left and Nintendo's probably not gonna drop something. So, what do you have to add to that? That's basically kind of impossible that they just drop something, like, at the end of this week. I put it in here, because it's technically unlikely. It technically counts as one of the unlikely things.
I kind of think maybe Nintendo because they released Pikmin 3. I mean,
Yeah.
that was leaked. Well, people knew about it before, but like I was honestly surprised when they announced that. I was like, Nintendo finally announced the
Yeah.
game. I was honestly surprised.
Like it would be completely like completely impossible for Nintendo to reveal something on Friday or Saturday of this week. I mean, like, I don't know. They could announce something for next week. And then the next unlikely one is late September or early October, because that seems way too late to release, like, or reveal holiday titles. Especially because it's after Mario's 35th anniversary, and after their briefing session, and a lot of people, including Jeff Grubb, said it would be before mid-September. So, I don't really see it being that late. There'd most likely
Either.
be a direct before then, or any kind of announcement before then. So what are your thoughts on that?
I'm thinking maybe no way that Nintendo's gonna do it early October. It's kind of too late. And all
Yeah,
that. Like people have been demanding for direct, so I don't think Nintendo will be like that. But this COVID-19 stuff, it's still going. So maybe when it ends, or like maybe when we're getting near to close to end, I think the COVID-19 pandemic is gonna end when it's like winter because everyone's probably gonna stay home. That's just my prediction though.
yeah.
But I think Nintendo will probably release like ports of like 3D World that's been rumored and all that. I think they're just gonna do that for now.
Yeah, the thing is, like COVID-19 and all the stuff happening in 2020, I mean, yes, it is affecting Nintendo's development, but it's not really affecting their announcements at all. Because they're able to make the indie worlds and all these game-specific directs that, like, for the amount that they've put out this year, it's almost like they could have released a couple directs within this year. Like, because they're actually, like, they don't really feel like they're, like, lower quality at all. They really seem like they're, like, just normal presentations and probably take as much effort as a direct for what they could have done. So, like, I don't really think that's an excuse for a direct specifically, but maybe for games in general, because of course games are going to be delayed because of this. But I don't think Nintendo Directs really take, like, a lot of Nintendo's... Like, it doesn't really take a lot of effort for Nintendo to make, especially because they had other announcements. So,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah. And let's go into the likely ones. So the first one I have is next week, or the last week in August, and maybe, like, the first couple days of September. I feel like it's likely next week, because there's instances where the indie world, like, there's an indie world following a week before a direct. I know August directs aren't the most common thing, but I mean, like, there's been directs in, like, February, which isn't that common, and also other months, and Nintendo likes to switch around the months sometimes when they do directs, and it just seems like if they're gonna do something in September, if they're gonna have a game released between now and Pikmin 3, which is definitely possible because there's no game. There's like a 2-month gap between now and Pikmin 3 Deluxe. There is a possibility that there could be a game between then, either if it's a port or the Mario remasters. The Mario remasters is probably, this is like next week's probably the last time they can announce it, unless it's coming out in November. So like there's a few points leading towards like late August, like the last week in August. That's probably like that's kind of like the beginning of the kind of like likely dates of when a Nintendo Direct could be. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm thinking like, it's gonna be those days. I feel like because all the rumors, I kind of believe it now at this point because most like the person who actually was leaking it, they actually got it right, which is crazy. And most of the time, it was pretty accurate to what they were saying. And right now, I believe it totally. Right now.
Yeah, I hear people throwing out dates like the 28th, 27th, something like that, around that time. And I've heard like a lot of credible people on Twitter say it's gonna be like next week. And that's actually like entirely possible because like indie worlds usually come right before a direct. Like this has happened many times. Like there could be an indie world like this one at the beginning of like 1 week, and then a Nintendo Direct could happen later in the next week. So like a week and a half between them. So it really makes sense. And the other likely date we have is early September to mid-September, which I feel is just as likely as the last week in August. Maybe even slightly less, but like I'm not really gonna think of that because I'm not really gonna get my hopes up for next week. But like there is a chance that they could do it like a few days before the briefing session. But like I feel like they could do something on Mario's 35th anniversary, which is entirely possible. There could be like a regular direct with like a Mario segment in it. Because I don't really think they could do a Mario Direct since they have a lot of other games to announce. Like the rumored 2D Metroid game, and potentially a lot of other games coming too. Probably like a little bit of gameplay for the sequel to Breath of the Wild, but I don't think that game's coming out till next year. There's like almost no chance that it's coming out this year.
Yeah, that game takes a lot of time to develop. So.
Unless they've been like hiding it from us, and it was already like decently into development when they announced it, and it's basically finished now, and they just have to announce it for like December or something. I don't see it happening. That there's that sliver of chance that it could do that, but like barely any. I'm not gonna believe it happening this year at all. I'm gonna assume that it's coming out next year or after, next year or later. Because I feel like that's gonna be a holiday 2021 game in my opinion. If not like maybe mid 2021, but even that seems a little too early for that game. So what are your thoughts on that? Like with the early to mid September?
Pretty unlikely in my opinion, because I don't think Nintendo will keep us waiting for that long. But they're Nintendo, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
They can do anything random basically, and like just announce like a new game like right now for all we know.
If it's gonna be September, I'm thinking it's gonna be the first week of September, like between August 31st and September 4th, somewhere around there. If it's not next week, because I feel like next week is the most likely date for a Nintendo Direct, coming from like multiple sources and everything. I'm not going to be disappointed if it doesn't come next week, because I'm going to expect it until Nintendo has that briefing session on September 16th. So that's basically all we have to discuss today. Do you have any final thoughts on when it could happen?
Probably maybe at the end of August. That's why I'm thinking the 30th.
Yeah. Actually, the 30th is a Sunday, so like either next week or week after. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope a Nintendo Direct's coming soon. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out and subscribe to Eduardo Gaming's channel. He does like different videos like gameplay and other stuff on there. Right now, he's doing a Let's Play of Paper Mario the Origami King, so make sure to check it out. I'll put it in the description down below and in the outro. So, thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.